Welcome to Soothing History for Sleep. I'm your host, Carter Reed. In the heart of Rome's ancient Colosseum, beneath a blanket of stars, a gladiator prepares for his deadly duel. His breath is steady, his focus unwavering, but his heart is not with his sword. It's at home, with his wife. Have you ever wondered about the women who loved these fierce warriors? What must their lives have been like? They were the silent spectators, their stories largely forgotten by history. Gladiators were celebrities of their time, but their wives were the unsung heroes, living in the shadows of their husbands' fame. From managing households to raising children, their lives were a labyrinth of responsibilities and uncertainties. They didn't just endure, they thrived. These women lived in a world where their husband's occupation was a brutal spectacle for public entertainment. It was a world where words like tomorrow held a different weight, where every parting had the potential to be a final farewell. Their lives were a cocktail of strength, courage, and poignant vulnerability, a side of ancient Rome that often slips between the cracks of history. So, tonight, let us journey back to the era of gladiators, not for the battles, but for the women behind them. Let's shed light on the lives of these under-celebrated women and rediscover the real lives of gladiators' wives. We find ourselves in a time machine, gliding back through the millennia to the bustling heart of ancient Rome. It is an epic of raw power and grandeur, a time when the mighty Colosseum was still new, its stones warmed by the sun, its amphitheater echoing with the roar of the crowd. The city is a vibrant tapestry of life, teeming with citizens, slaves, merchants, and soldiers. The air is thick with the mingling scents of olive oil, fresh baked bread, and the faint, metallic tang of iron. Cobblestone streets resonate with the rhythmic clip-clop of horse hooves, the low murmur of haggling, the distant laughter of children at play. In this bustling milieu, the gladiator's wife begins her day. The first light of dawn seeps through the small windows of her modest home, nestled in the cradle of the city. The house is simple, but cozy, with rooms centered around a small atrium. Her days are shaped by the rhythm of household duties. She bakes bread, churns cheese, spins wool for clothing, and tends to her small gaggle of children. Her life is humble, a stark contrast to the grandeur and glamour of her husband's arena. But in this simplicity, she finds her strength, her resilience. She is the backbone of her family, holding the fort, while her husband risks his life for the fleeting glory of the Colosseum. The society she lives in is a complex web of hierarchy and power. As the wife of a gladiator, she occupies a unique position. Her husband may be a slave, a prisoner of war, or a free man who chose the life of a gladiator for the promise of wealth and fame. Regardless, her status is a reflection of his. She is not a noblewoman, but neither is she a commoner. Her world is one where gods and goddesses are as real as the people walking the streets of Rome. she prays fervently to Fortuna, the goddess of luck, to protect her husband in the arena. She makes offerings to Venus, the goddess of love, to keep their bond strong amidst the unpredictability of their lives. The gladiator's wife is a woman of courage, navigating the tumultuous waters of her life with grace and determination. Her story is one of quiet strength and resilience, of love that persists in the face of uncertainty. It is a story that deserves to be told, a story that reminds us of the untold narratives hidden in the folds of history. So, as we travel back through time, let us keep our hearts and minds open to her story, to the real lives of gladiators' wives. The first whispers of her story came to light in the fading embers of the 20th century. In the year 1995, a team of archaeologists led by Dr. Maria Stella Flori, a renowned Italian archaeologist, embarked on a journey to the heart of ancient Rome. Their destination was a lesser-known, yet historically rich site, known as Gladiators' Barracks, located near the grandeur of the Colosseum. Hidden beneath centuries of dust and debris, they uncovered a treasure that opened a window into the lives of gladiators' wives. It was a small terracotta figurine, no larger than the palm of a hand. The figurine depicted a woman, her face serene, her posture strong and resolute. She was dressed modestly, her hands busily engaged in spinning wool. The details of her clothing and her activity suggested that she was a woman of the household, possibly a wife. The object was found alongside a collection of similar figurines, thought to represent various gods and goddesses. These figurines were often used in household shrines, where daily prayers and offerings would be made. The presence of this female figurine amidst the pantheon of gods suggested a reverence or a recognition of her role, her contribution to the gladiator's life. Alongside this figurine, the team discovered a small parchment, preserved miraculously over the centuries. The parchment contained a heartfelt letter written by a gladiator to his wife. The gladiator, named Crescens, wrote of his love and gratitude for his wife, his longing for her in his moments of solitude, and his deep appreciation for her unwavering support. Dr. Flori and her team were able to trace the origins of these artifacts to the 1st century AD, a period when the gladiatorial games were at their peak. The discovery of these items gave an intimate glimpse into the lives of gladiators' wives and their significant role in the gladiatorial world. The figurine and the letter provided a tangible connection to the past, a bridge across the chasm of time, leading us to the unadorned but resilient lives of these women. The artifacts served as a silent testament to their lives, a reminder that behind the roar of the crowd and the clash of steel, there were women whose love and strength quietly held the threads of their families' lives together. Through these discoveries, we are invited to step into their world, to feel their hopes, their fears, and their undying love for their gladiators. These artifacts, this small terracotta figurine and the parchment letter, hold profound significance. They are more than just relics from a bygone era. They serve as an intimate narrative, a voice for those whose stories were often overlooked in the grand scheme of ancient history. The figurine, meticulously crafted, tells us much about the people of that time. The woman's serene face and resolute posture reflect a sense of quiet strength. Her modest attire and the activity she's engaged in, spinning wool, paint a picture of a daily life marked by simplicity and duty. The fact that this figurine was found among a collection representing gods and goddesses suggests a recognition, perhaps even a reverence, for the domestic role she embodied. This contradicts the common perception of the Roman society as being purely patriarchal. The presence of this figurine in the household shrine implies that the role of women, especially the wives of gladiators, was considered significant and worthy of respect. This challenges preconceptions, illuminating a facet of Roman society that underscores the value attached to domestic life and the crucial role women played in it. The parchment letter, preserved across centuries, is a testament to the emotional depth and complexity of relationships in the ancient world. Gladiator Crescens's words reveal a profound love and gratitude for his wife, contradicting the stereotype of gladiators as cold, hardened warriors. His longing for her in his solitude and his deep appreciation for her unwavering support humanize him, bringing him to life. These artifacts confirm the importance of personal relationships within the harsh world of the gladiatorial games. They suggest that for many gladiators, their wives were their refuge, their source of strength and hope amongst the blood and sand of the arena. This glimpse into their lives reminds us of our shared humanity, the universal need for love, and the strength derived from it. In the quiet corners of history, these artifacts provide a voice to the silent, a testament to the women who were the backbone of the gladiatorial world. They remind us that history is not just the tale of emperors and wars, but also of love, resilience, and the strength of ordinary people living through extraordinary times. Nevertheless, it is vital to approach such evidence with a measured perspective. The interpretation of historical artifacts is often a matter of debate among scholars, and these artifacts are no exception. Some historians consider the figurine and the parchment letter as definitive proof of the respected role of gladiator wives and the depth of their relationships. They point to the intricate craftsmanship of the figurine and the deeply personal nature of the letter as compelling indications of their significance. On the other hand, there are those who express caution. They argue that while these artifacts provide a fascinating glimpse into the past, we must be wary of attributing too much weight to isolated pieces of evidence. Historian Quintus Livius posits that the figurine's presence among the gods and goddesses might not necessarily indicate reverence for the role of the wife. It could merely reflect a custom of including representations of the household in the shrine. Similarly, some scholars question whether Crescens's letter is truly representative of the feelings of most gladiators. As historian Fabia Caesilia suggests, It is equally possible that Crescens was an exception, a man with a particularly strong bond with his wife, rather than the norm. His eloquent expression of love and gratitude may reflect his personal sensitivity more than a common sentiment among gladiators. The truth, as is often the case with history, likely lies somewhere in the middle. While these artifacts do offer valuable insights about the lives of gladiators' wives, they are but pieces of a larger, more complex puzzle. They represent individual instances, personal stories, and should be understood in that context. So, as we delve deeper into the lives of these ancient wives, let us do so with open minds and discerning eyes, embracing the fascinating truths these artifacts reveal, while also acknowledging the limits of our understanding. We are, after all, peering into the past through a narrow window, attempting to reconstruct a world that is long gone. Yet, it is precisely this challenge that makes the exploration of history, like the quiet spinning of wool, a task that requires patience, care, and a deep appreciation for the delicate threads that connect us to our past. The question then arises, why has the history of gladiators' wives faded into the shadows of time? Why has this intriguing part of our ancient past been largely overlooked? The answers to these questions are as complex and multifaceted as the lives of the women themselves, shaped by a host of factors, from the shifting sands of cultural norms to the politics of historical record-keeping. One of the primary reasons lies in the changing societal values and attitudes. The Roman Empire, like many ancient societies, was patriarchal. The lives of women, particularly those associated with a profession as brutal and controversial as gladiating, were often deemed less worthy of attention and documentation. Moreover, the wives of gladiators occupied a somewhat ambiguous position in Roman society. They were neither aristocrats nor commoners, neither free women nor slaves. And this lack of clear categorization may have further contributed to their historical obscurity. Furthermore, the nature of historical record-keeping itself played a role. The preservation of history has traditionally favored the powerful and the prominent, the rulers and the warriors, the monumental structures and grand events. The quiet, everyday lives of ordinary people, especially women, were often deemed less significant, less worthy of documentation. The stories of gladiators' wives, woven into the fabric of daily life, were largely overlooked by the historians of their time, and hence remained hidden from our view. Another contributing factor could be the stigma associated with the profession of gladiating. Despite the thrills and spectacles of the arena, gladiating was considered a dishonorable profession, associated with brutality and death. This stigma likely extended to the wives of gladiators, casting a shadow over their lives and narratives. Finally, it is also possible that the stories of gladiators' wives were lost over time, swept away by the tides of change and the relentless march of time. The fragile threads that connected them to the past might have snapped, their stories disintegrating into the sands of time, much like the ruins of the ancient arenas themselves. In the end, the fading away of the history of gladiators' wives is a poignant reminder of the inherent fragility of our collective memory. It underscores the importance of preserving and exploring all aspects of our past, not just the grand narratives, but also the quiet, everyday lives of ordinary people. After all, it is in these seemingly insignificant details that the true richness of history often lies. As we delve deeper into the lives of gladiators' wives, we find profound symbolism that echoes throughout the ages. Their stories, shrouded in mystery and veiled by societal norms of their time, carry a certain resonance with our own struggles and triumphs today. In essence, these women were symbols of resilience and endurance, much like their gladiator husbands. The arena of their lives, however, was not one of sand and spectacle, but of the home, the family, and the heart. They navigate the tumultuous waves of uncertainty, living each day under the constant shadow of their husband's dangerous profession. Every farewell could have been a final one, every silence a harbinger of loss. Yet they persevered, embodying a quiet strength that was perhaps more formidable than any gladiator's might. The gladiators' wives were also symbols of ambiguity and paradox. They lived on the fringes of society, neither completely free nor enslaved, neither fully respected nor entirely disdained. They were caught in a liminal space, much like the twilight zone between day and night, light and darkness. This liminality, this in-betweenness, speaks to the human condition itself, a journey through shades of gray, a dance between dichotomies. Their quiet existence, largely overlooked by the annals of history, also serves as a poignant reminder of the countless, unnamed individuals who've played equally significant roles in shaping our world. They are symbols of the unsung heroes, the everyday warriors, whose stories are seldom told, yet whose lives have contributed to the grand tapestry of human history. In this way, the wives of gladiators represent not just a forgotten chapter of ancient Rome, but a universal narrative of human endurance, resilience, ambiguity, and invisibility. Their stories are a mirror to our own lives, reflecting our shared struggles and triumphs, our quest for identity and meaning, our dance with the known and the unknown. As we continue to unravel the hidden narratives of gladiators' wives, we are not just exploring a forgotten piece of history. We are also engaging in a profound dialogue with our own lives, a dialogue that transcends time and space, that bridges the gap between the past and the present, that connects us with the universal human experience. After all, history is not just a chronicle of events, but a reflection of the human heart and its timeless journey. Echoes of the gladiators' wives have resonated throughout the ages, in the arts, literature, and popular culture. Their narratives have been woven into the fabric of human storytelling, subtly influencing the way we perceive the world and our place within it. In literature, the wives of gladiators have often been portrayed as figures of steadfast loyalty and resilience. Their stories have inspired countless novels, from historical fiction to fantasy, from romance to adventure. They have become symbols of the human ability to endure adversity, to love in spite of fear, to hope against the odds. In these narratives, they are celebrated not for their physical strength, but for the strength of their spirit, their courage, their resilience. Visual arts, too, have been touched by the legacy of these women. They have been immortalized in paintings, sculptures, and frescoes, their expressions often reflecting a mix of hope, fear, and defiance. They are depicted not as mere spectators in the gladiatorial games, but as active participants in their own stories, their own lives. In folk tales and mythology, the wives of gladiators have been transformed into icons of love and sacrifice. They have been cast as the heroes of their own tales, their stories echoing the universal themes of love, loss, and redemption. Even in modern times, the image of the gladiator's wife continues to captivate our collective imagination. Films and television series have reimagined their stories, placing them at the center of epic dramas, powerful love stories, and thrilling adventures. Their presence is felt, too, in our everyday lives. They remind us of the strength that resides within each of us, the resilience we possess, the courage we can muster in the face of adversity. They inspire us to persevere, to fight, to love, even when the odds seem insurmountable. The echoes of the gladiators' wives continue to reverberate through the halls of time, their stories a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. As we delve deeper into their narratives, we are reminded that history is not just a sequence of events, but a living, breathing entity, shaped by the lives, the hopes, the dreams, and the struggles of ordinary people, just like us. As we traverse further into the veiled corners of history, we encounter alternate narratives, stories that often fall into the realm of the esoteric, the magical, the extraordinary. These narratives are the whispers of history, hinting at the existence of more than what meets the eye. One such theory suggests that the wives of gladiators were not just mere mortals, but were, in fact, priestesses of an ancient tradition. They supposedly possessed mystical abilities that allowed them to see visions of the future, to heal wounds, to protect their husbands in the blood-soaked arenas. Some even claim that they were able to manipulate the outcome of the gladiatorial games through their spiritual practices. These priestesses, as per this narrative, were revered and feared in equal measure. They were said to have been privy to the secrets of the universe, capable of unraveling the threads of fate itself. Their lives were not just about survival amidst adversity, but were a constant dance between the mortal and the divine, the human and the profound. Another fascinating theory delves into the realm of ancient technology. It suggests that the wives of gladiators were experts in the use of rudimentary medical tools and techniques. which were far ahead of their time. Their knowledge of herbs, potions, and surgical procedures supposedly saved countless lives and played a crucial role in the survival of their gladiator husbands. These women, according to this perspective, were the unsung heroines of medical progress in ancient times. These alternate views, while intriguing, are not without controversy. The lack of concrete evidence makes it difficult to validate these claims. Yet, the allure of such narratives is undeniable. They add a layer of complexity and depth to the stories of these women, allowing us to view them not just as passive spectators, but as active participants, shapers of their own destiny, and possibly the course of history itself. As we delve into these narratives, we are reminded once again that history is a tapestry woven with threads of fact and fiction, reality and myth, the known and the unknown. The wives of gladiators, it seems, are not just characters in this tapestry, but are the weavers themselves. Their stories, as intricate and captivating as the patterns they weave. It is a comforting thought as we drift into slumber. The whispers of these extraordinary women lulling us into a dream-filled sleep. Their stories echoing in the corridors of our dreams. Their strength and resilience inspiring us, even in our sleep. Our journey has taken us through the bustling markets of ancient Rome, the hushed corners of sacred temples, and the intriguing world of ancient medicine. We have seen the wives of gladiators not just as silent figures in the shadows, but as vibrant, dynamic women, each with a story to tell, a voice to be heard, a life to be lived. We have come to appreciate these women not just for their courage and resilience, but also for their resourcefulness, their wisdom, their strength, their spirit. We have learned to see them not as mere spectators of history, but as active participants, as shapers of their own destiny, as the weavers of their own narratives. And as we draw the curtains on this journey, it is perhaps fitting to end with a question, a gentle prod to the imagination, a quiet invitation to dream. Imagine, if you will, the hushed whispers of the crowd, the thundering of hooves, the clash of steel, the roar of the crowd. Imagine the gladiator standing tall in the arena, the eyes of the crowd upon him. And imagine his wife standing in the shadows, her heart pounding, her breath hitching, her eyes brimming with fear, with hope, with love. What thoughts run through her mind as she watches her husband fight? What prayers does she whisper to the gods? What dreams does she weave in the quiet corners of her heart? Does she dream of a life away from the roar of the crowd? Of a quiet home by the sea? Of a world where swords are replaced by plowshares and arenas by fields of gold? These are questions we may never find answers to. Questions that may forever remain shrouded in the mists of history. But in the quiet corners of our minds, in the silence of our hearts, we can dare to dream. We can dare to imagine. We can dare to weave our own narratives, just as the wives of gladiators did centuries ago. And as we drift into sleep, let us carry these dreams with us. Let us invite these extraordinary women into our dreams. Let their stories inspire us, their strength fuel us, their courage guide us. And in the quiet of the night, let us dream, not of battles and bloodshed, but of love and hope, of strength and resilience, of lives well lived and stories well told. As the soft whispers of the night lull you to sleep, wonder, if you will, how would it be to walk a day in the sandals of a gladiator's wife? How would it be to weave a story of your own in the tapestry of history? How would it be to dream, not just of survival, but of a life lived in all its fullness, in all its vibrancy, in all its complexity? And as you drift into a dream-filled sleep, remember, history is not just about the battles fought in the arena, but also about the dreams woven in the heart. Thanks for listening. This has been Soothing History for Sleep. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to support the show, subscribe to the Forbidden Knowledge Network on Patreon. Subscribe now.